You know, so many people are asking how the Millers manage to have so much fun as a family.
What's the answer? Is it money?
To understand, let's go back several months before they got wise to themselves.
You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. In the years after World War II, the United States experienced an economic golden age. Affordable mortgages for returning soldiers fueled a housing boom. Families across the United States bought their first cars, and the nation's gross national product rose dramatically. The U.S., however, was far from perfect. Discrimination was institutionalized and widespread, and unions still fought to protect their members from unfair labor practices. But it seemed the nation as a whole was setting out upon an amazing, near-utopian trajectory. The American dream, too often a distant ideal, seemed, suddenly, something within our collective grasp. So what happened? Here's where it gets crazy. Income inequality in the United States has risen to one of the highest levels of the past century. This is not an opinion. This is not a matter of political spin nor fringe journalism. In fact, one of these observations came from the chair of the Federal Reserve herself, Janet Yellen, in October of 2014. She noted that the wealthiest 5% of American citizens hold 2/3 of all assets, and continued by asking whether this trend is compatible with values rooted in our nation's history, among them the high value Americans have traditionally placed on equality of opportunity. However, while the widening gap between the wealthy and the poor is an ugly fact of life in America and around the world, it seems none of the mainstream parties can agree on exactly what causes this condition, how dangerous it might be, or what to do about it. In many circles, the concept of financial inequality is inherent to the function of capitalism. For the system to work, some will simply have to have more than others. And, for proponents of this system, the inequality is not necessarily dangerous. Instead, they argue, the wealth will eventually trickle down to the rest of society. However, opponents, including numerous economists, argue that this degree of inequality is unstable, and that ultimately the system will topple. Economist Andrew Berg and Jonathan Ostry found that high inequality is associated with poorer economic outcomes. After a study of 175 countries, they found that the more equal a country is in terms of income and wealth, the longer it is able to sustain economic growth. And continual growth is the engine that drives any capitalist society. However, despite numerous admissions from both sides of the political aisle about rising inequality, most mainstream news outlets in the United States aren't spending a great deal of time reporting the possible repercussions. Those concerned by the rise of economic inequality believe this is an urgent matter requiring immediate attention. Those who are less concerned see it as a part of the system at work. But why isn't this historic level of inequality a bigger issue in the news? Is it really not worth covering? Or is there something they don't want you to know?
Questions like these are kind of tough to answer in any family. Suppose we hear what you have to say about them, okay?
You're absolutely right, George. Most family problems can be solved through frank and friendly discussion, which points the way to a happy family life.